All right, well, welcome back, race fans, to the Boom Tube for another Thursday night filled with action-packed racing here from the Thursday Night Nitro Series. This week, we take a trip down from Daytona. We're headed up the road to the former USA International Speedway in Lakeland, Florida, for a 0.75 mile action-packed short track night of racing. We've got a little bit of an unorthodox setup here because the Xfinity cars usually do not race on this particular racetrack, so this will be a little bit different for everyone involved. The cars are going to be a little less manageable than some other cars that might race here, such as Legends or street stocks or late models, super late models, and the like. These cars being a bit heavier, a bit more horsepower, are going to require a steady hand and a steady foot on that throttle pedal coming out of the corners to maintain any kind of traction here this evening. So looking forward to seeing what these drivers can do with the challenge that they're presented with this evening. But glad to have you along with us. As always, I'm Adam LeVox here to call every bit of the action for you. It's going to be a good night, and I can't wait to get started. Drivers are currently qualifying in the background at the moment. But let's give a quick rundown of our points situation. Of course, Ben Allen, the winner last week at Daytona, is currently sitting atop point standings with 51 points, followed very closely by the number 35 of Dusty Martin with 46. Just 1 point behind him is the driver of that number 5 car, Devin Mains. Aaron Mack resides in the 4th spot. Max Baumann with a respectable comeback after a wreck early last week. Ends up in 5th position in point standings, followed by Jake Doffing in the 13, Alan Blue in the 23, Alex Wiggins in the 11, has a respectable 8th place finish last week, Dan Jensen in 9th, and Zach Miller rounds out the top 10 in points, tied with Steven Turner for that 10th spot, I should mention. But it's been it was, of course, an interesting race at Daytona, a bit of a shake-up for everybody. It's always going to be a wild card at a super speedway race. Ben Allen coming out on top, getting himself a healthy lead in the point standings to start off this season. But let's see if he can keep up that momentum here at the polar opposite of Daytona International. We're going to USA International in Florida, just down the road for some short track action this evening. Drivers are starting to grid up on the field, and we'll go over our qualifying order in just a moment. Bear with me for just a second, folks. We got to get some sound issues taken care of. All right, now we should have some race audio from these high horsepower stock cars. As they get going, we'll go ahead and go over that qualifying order. Top of the board, Ben Allen. We wondered if he'd be able to keep that momentum up. He is proving so far tonight. Qualifying pole for this evening. Steven Turner rolls off second in the number 26, followed by Jake Doffing. Crank Bell in the number 14 rolls off 4th. Aaron Mack 5th. Dan Jensen 6th. Dalton Brewington 7th in that number 7. Greg Burchett in the 33, rolling off 8 with Dusty Martin 9th. And Carlos Ramos, a new face to the Thursday Night Nitro Series, making his debut start with us this evening. He's going to roll off P10. Doug Argabright, P11. Devin Mains in the 5, starting from closer to the rear of the field than we're used to, but I expect him to be a contender before this thing's over. He's going to start P12. Max Baumann in the 89. He is 13th, Randall Peasley 14th, Devin Gentry with a uphill climb to go this evening in the number 12. We're going to roll off 15 with Hunter Mathis making his debut tonight as well in the 16th spot. Dalton Buckingham 17th, and Alex Wiggins will be that last car starting from the 18th position. That is our qualifying order. We're going to watch this pace car, take him around one more time. Pace lights are off. We expect to go green next time around. Hopefully you're ready for some short track racing action here with BoomTube in the Thursday Night Nitro Series. I know I am. We got a Mustang, Camaro. We got an even mix of manufacturers at the front of the field. We got a Chevy versus Ford battle brewing. Toyota's going to have to pick up the pace a little bit tonight. We're getting ready to roll here just momentarily. Pace car is going to pull down to pit lane, and we're getting ready to fire these cars off. Bennett Allen going to lead them to the green. Big launch there for Bennett Allen, able to clear by 3, maybe 4/10 of a second. We got a spin already behind. That looks like it's going to be Jake Doffing in the 13. A couple others involved as well. Doesn't look like too much serious contact was made. But already we're going to get exercise that replay cam. Brought to you by Déjà Revél. Check them out at DéjaRevél.com. All right, let's take a look. Keep an eye on that bright highlighter yellow number 13. Goes to the inside. Just gets in a little bit hot. Maybe a slight bump to the rear bumper of the 26, but it sends him around. It looks like Carlos Ramos on number 90 gets a piece of it as well. Low speed incident. We'll see if that damage is going to affect him too much. I think Doffing in the 13 should be all right. Looks like most of that is going to be rear damage to that race car. It's that number 90 I'm going to be worried about. Let's go ahead and jump cameras over to that number 90 car. And see if we can examine the damage here. Doesn't look like anything too serious. This is a short track. Low corner speeds, don't really need quite as much downforce as you would at other racetracks. So as long as that steering is doing all right on his car, I wouldn't expect too much of a performance detriment to him here this evening. Going back live, field under control of our Ford Mustang pace car. I'd see some momentary flashes and some cars getting changed up as in appearance as Trading Paints gets itself going. So we see the proper representation of these drivers displayed on their race cars. As we're under caution, maybe we can take a look at a few as we go. Big pickup already for that number 7 of Dalton Brewington, up to 4th from his 7th place starting position. On cold tires, this definitely is an interesting track to run. Into turn 1, it gets pretty sketchy on occasion. Those front tires, before they're heated up, really do not want to cooperate as the car settles down. And it really does like to understeer, and I think we saw a bit of that from the 13 on that initial start. And once you get that understeer, you put a lot of steering input into the race car, and sometimes it's just a little bit too much. And when that front finally does pick up, it can kind of spin the race car and break those rears loose, especially trying to get back on throttle. But that's of no concern right now. We got Bennett Allen starting from the outside this time. Launches great once again. He's going to be free and clear into turn 1. The race is behind him for a second. That is Steven Turner and Dalton Brewington making big jumps early. He's hanging to the outside of the 31 of Mack. Turner clears. Now that battle for third. See, Dusty Martin back in the 35 goes a bit high. Loses a spot there. Up front, 15 still with a healthy lead. Third place to battle right now. That 7 trying to hang out on the outside, makes something happen on the 31, but Max not going to let him have it that easy. Brewington goes wide, trying to get that entry speed, that wide arc and late apex into the corner. Almost chops the nose off the 14 behind. Going to definitely have to watch what doors you leave open here in this race tonight, because it might get you in trouble. Bit of contact there for Crank Bell off of turn 4. He hits the outside wall. These drivers are going to have their hands full coming to grips with this challenging racetrack. So far, Bennett Allen with a huge 2.5 lead already after the start. Steven Turner's second. First close battle we have on the racetrack, all the way back with the number 12, Devin Gentry, sitting in 12th spot currently. Trying to work over the number 22, while simultaneously being under fire from Mains in the 5. Mid-pack battles still going on between the 33, the 00, and the 41. Greg Burchett with a pretty decent start to this race, already up to P8 in that Royal Pegasus Motorsports machine. He's got the color chrome all over that ride, looking really good under the lights here at USA International. Back here, Mathis goes down a spot to the 5 car. Next is going to be under fire from the 12. A little bit deep on the entry, has to check up to avoid getting into the 5. Recovers big time loose off of turn 4. That's going to let that 12 car close in rapidly. Skipping back forward, Max Baumann under fire from the 41 of Argabright. Tight racing. Off of turn 2, down to turn 3 and 4. 41 still the advantage to the inside. Baumann trying to hold on to the outside. Doubtful he's going to keep that spot. Nearly come together and make contact off of 4. Baumann still hanging in there on the outside. Got to be careful not to overdrive that entry to turn 1. It is easy to do, as we saw earlier with the number 13, to send it in there too hard. Once the front end plants into the racetrack, that back end does like to come around. Baumann going to surrender that spot to the 41 for now. Up front, Bennett Allen absolutely putting a hurting on the field. Up to a 3-second gap now to second place Turner. Behind them, another 2.5 seconds to Aaron Mack in the 31, holding off Dalton Brewington for that spot. These 3 drivers back here have been pretty similar pace the whole race so far. Brewington, for those who aren't aware, is a routine presence at Alaska Raceway Park, racing Legends cars and Baby Grands. So he's no stranger to short tracks, and talking with him, compared this track like a stretched out version of Alaska Raceway Park. Very similar corner profiles with a substantially longer straightaway on each end of this track. But he said overall it does feel very familiar, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him in contention for the win tonight. Frank Bell, no stranger to the front row, or front part of the field. Looks like some rear damage to that race car. Someone got into the back of that number 14 at some point. He'll pick up a dent or two here at these short tracks, but it is not affecting his performance as you see him close in pretty solidly into the braking zone into turn 1 there on that number 7. Sorry, turn 3. Frank featuring a shiny new chrome blue paint job, chrome numbers on the side of that 14, looking solid here this evening, pace-wise and looks-wise. And a while back, we're starting to get a bit of a train forming back here. We got 35, Dusty Martin, followed by Dan Jensen. Jensen's been pretty quiet so far this evening. And his number 29, just doing what he has to do, been riding in the 7th spot pretty much since the start of the race. Burchett still continuing his march toward the front, has closed that gap considerably on Jensen. Expect this to turn into a bit of a battle here soon. At 33's got quite a bit of pace. Argabright still holding the lead over Bauman for 9th and 10th spot. Devin Mains in 11th is up quite a few spots already. Mechie's a little further back down the field, starting in that 12th spot than we're used to. Is a long race this evening, 200 laps. We are 25 laps down with a few more to go. Expect pit stops right around a lap 100 to 105. These drivers may come earlier. We'll see how long they want to stretch this thing. Because it's not the fuel they'll be begging for, it's the tires. After even just 55, 60 laps, these tires are not all that fun to drive with. Coming from personal experience practicing with some of these guys this week, it turns out to be a bit of a headache once those tires start getting worn and overheated. Very easy to overheat that right front tire, which you tend to abuse on the entry to corners, and it's very easy to overheat the right rear tire, which this car is almost completely riding on that right rear tire coming out of these corners. And you'll see these drivers occasionally experience a bit of a tank slapper as the weight transfers off of that right side tire back over to the left side coming off the corners. That can unsettle the car, and as they're trying to get the power down and break those rear tires loose, and cause yourself a bit of a headache, because once you buzz the tires once or twice, they get hot and they want to stay hot. So you kind of got to take it easy for a couple laps, get them back within those operating temperatures that they want to be at before you can start going back to your normal lap times. Looks like a battle here. We thought the 33 was going to catch 29, but it's the 41 who's starting to close in on the 33. He gets a nose inside. He'll be dead even coming off the corner now toward the start-finish line. It's going to be Argabright to the inside. Burchett to the outside. He's going to make that pass. Burchett's going to have to get back down quickly if he wants to avoid falling into the clutches of Max Bauman just behind him. Just behind this, another battle starting to shape up. We saw the 5 pass a lot of these guys earlier. Now the 12s of Devin Gentry starting to work his way back up to the rear bumper of that U.S. Army Esports number 5 machine. It'll be a battle of the Devins for that 11th spot before too long. It's behind them. Talk about close battles. Easily getting passed here by the number 11, Alex Wiggins, starting from the rear this evening. He's making waves. 13 cleared himself off the nose of the 63, came over too quickly. And that's going to bring out our second caution of the evening, unfortunately involving the same car as the first. Once again, let's go ahead and head back to our replay cam. take an aerial view, keeping an eye on that number 13 and the 63, the two cars involved. Coming off the corner here, 13 gets a big run. I think maybe just comes over too early. We'll kick it in slow-mo. Starts fading over to the right just a little too soon. Clears himself up. Just wasn't quite there yet. So that's going to be another bit of bad news for the driver of the 13, Jake Dolphing. He's going to have some damage on that front end of that race car. Slid pretty parallel to the wall, so maybe not huge damage. Definitely saw a bit of a wrinkle on the nose of that Ford Mustang, but I'm not sure it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be terminal. Looks like the thing is still steering relatively straight. He should be all right to get back going. But, not fitting. Unfortunately, though, the 63 Déjà Revél cam is car is involved in the Déjà Revél replay cam. Didn't want to see those two cross paths, but here we are. Easily getting back going. Taking that wave around, getting his lap back. Let's see if we see some pit stops. It looks like we see quite a few throughout the field. Beasley on pit road, Buckingham on pit road, Odell. Ramos, I think, is waiting for the free pass, or he could have stayed out. I'm not quite sure how this played out. Ramos last pit lap 3, so he did stay out. Brewington's going to stay out on old tires. Everybody else in the field, besides these two drivers, has elected to pit for tires on lap 33. There we go. The 90 will be taking that wave around. Getting that free pass. This is where things could get interesting. A bit of a trial run for old tires here for the number 7. Tire wear wasn't that significant during practice. We saw roughly 94 to 95% over a 50-lap run remaining on those tires. But the heat in the tires tended to be an issue after that point. Just that little bit of loss of grip on the right front affected them quite a bit. But we'll see. Now that they've had a chance to cool down. Ooh, big tire spin from that number 7. Frank Bell was prepared for it, though. He backed off just a little bit. Brewington unable to fire off quite as well as he would have liked, and he might get eaten up by these drivers. Right now, it's Bennett Allen back out front. He takes advantage immediately. We got Turner to the inside of the 7. I think the 7 might just get eaten up by traffic here. He's going to have to try to get back down to the bottom here before the next corner. Big run by Aaron Mack. He better shut the door. He's going to be there. Didn't quite get down to the bottom. This is going to be a bad time for the 7 on this restart. Old tires were not the call, but hey, it's a long race. A little bit of trial and error doesn't hurt. But by the end of this thing, you may be wishing he had that track position back. Bennett Allen just setting the fastest lap so far in the race with a 21:31. Blistering time, no surprise out of that 15. He's been class of the field all of these nearly 40 laps so far. Mack turning up the wick a little bit here. We saw Steven Turner get away from him a little bit last run, but he's hanging tight in that number 31 SDI. Sonoran Desert Institute, I am assuming that sponsor is on the number 31. Actually closing in a little bit through 3 and 4 that time. Even times for both of them. They ran identical 21.66 laps last time by. A little bit faster for Mack this time by 21:53 to a 21:62 as Allen goes even faster out of the lead. 21.29. Absolutely blistering pace out of that 15 car. Has something figured out at this racetrack that nobody else has been able to compare to so far. And behind them, Argerbright's working his way forward. He's going to be the next one to take advantage of the old tires on that number 7 machine. Currently sitting P6. He's looking to break into that top 5's nose to the inside coming off of turn 4. Can't quite make it stick. Dalton's trying to hang on with a run to the outside using that outside momentum, but can't quite get there. You see that car just not wanting to rotate mid-corner and can't stick it to the apex like everyone else is able to. Brewington continues to fall. We got a stack up cars behind him. We got the 29 of Jensen, the 5 of Mains gaining more spots. Finally within the top 5 for the number 5 car. He's up to P8. Make that P7 now as he gets around the number 29. Jensen going to try to fight back on that outside, but that outside lane just does not work here at USA International. This is a very traditional short track, bottom dominant through and through. What he may run into, though, he might have a good position here because the 7 is going to hold up this bottom lane. Unfortunately, it looks like the 29 got up in the marbles, nearly chops the nose off of Max Bauman's car behind. The pace of the 7 is stacking the whole mid-pack up. They are scrambling to find a way around. In the melee, the 5 loses 2 positions. Not only does he lose that spot back to the 29, but now Alex Wiggins has taken advantage, move him up to P7 now, with Mains settling back for P8. Finally, Mains able to get a nose inside the 7 car and work his way by. Big time issues for that 7 car. Completely loose coming off that corner as well. A lot more yaw in that car coming through the corners. You definitely have to send it into the corners a little bit harder than everyone else. That back end just does not want to stay planted. Nothing about that race car looks comfortable at the moment. Craig Bell, a bit of a fall back through the field after that round of pit stops. He's back in 11th, currently battling out with Devin Gentry in the 12. Gentry is the picture of consistency this evening, been hanging around this 12th spot pretty much the entire race so far. He just likes the number 12, I'm convinced. Up front, it's a 4-second gap for your leader, Bennett Allen. Absolutely, like we said, putting a bruiser on the field because he's still running 21.7s while the rest of the field is in the 22-second range. That is incredible pace out of this 15. He's found a way to maintain that speed and keep those tires cool and lasting a lot longer than everyone else by the look of it. Nothing too flashy. Doesn't look like he's sending it in the corner any harder than anyone else, but he's been able to maintain that pace. Throughout the run. Very impressive stuff out of the driver of the number 15. This starting to close back up a little bit. Steve Turner and Aaron Mack. Still just half a second separates them. We've seen this gap fluctuate back and forth. We've seen the 31 get right there, but then just isn't able to make it stick into the corner. Maybe a little bit of aero wash coming onto the nose of that 31, taking away some of that valuable downforce that you need to get that thing to rotate. See a little bit different line out of the 31 coming off that corner. Really wrapping the bottom, keeping that thing all the way down to the bottom. Through the corners, taking a lower exit than the 26. It's probably going to be a good tire for tire savings on that car, not riding that right rear quite as much on exit. Still nearly identical lap times between these two. 22:09 for Aaron Mack that time, 22:10 for Turner. Caution is out. Looks like Carlos Ramos, driver of the number 90, gets into a bit of trouble. We'll go ahead and take a look back and see what we can find out about that incident. Back on the Déjà Revél replay cam once again. Keeping an eye on that number 90. Already looks out of shape. Let's go ahead and rewind just a little bit to the entry of the corner. Might have just cooked it a little too hard in there. Sends it deep. Remember, Carlos on the old tires. He stayed out to get that lap back. Goes wide here. Clean through that corner. Taking a look down through 3 and 4 now. Just possibly wheel hopped a little bit. Those rear tires on that number 90 just gets the back end loose on entry. As those tires wear out, the back end does get very loose under braking. If you're not careful, a lot of these guys will try to dial in a little bit of negative or a little bit of rear brake bias just to make the car rotate a little bit better, but that can hurt your corner entry a little bit, and you risk locking up the rears. Bennett Allen still leads the way here on lap number 57. Most of the drivers coming in lap 33. Remember, Dalton Brewington stayed out last time. It looks like he's going to come in for... Yes, he is. He's going to come in, get 4 fresh Goodyear tires on his Ford Mustang. Expect to see him working his way back forward, getting off sequence a little bit. Depending on how the cautions fall, that could prove either detrimental or helpful toward the end of this race. We'll have to stick around and find out which of those it's going to be. Jake Dolphin showing a couple laps down at this point. Hunter Mathis looks like he is out of going to either has terminal damage or just hanging up the wheel of that number 22 for the evening. Could have had some technical issues going on. Dalton Buckingham, number 39. He is showing 5 laps down. Ramos, the number 90, has retired, so Buckingham will gain that spot back. Will gain at least 1 position. Brewington's going to bring up the rear of the lead lap car. Yeah, sorry, not lead lap. He fell a lap down before the pit cycle. So we know that 7 car has got pace, but he's got a long way to go. He's going to have to keep himself at the front of those 3 lap down cars if we're to get another caution. Or potentially race his way back around the leader. I think those old tires last time, 25 laps, that's definitely plenty of time to put him a lap down. Green flag back in the air. 15 fires off very well on the outside lane. Big gap back to second. Steven Turner clears for second. Now it's Dusty Martin to the outside of the 31 of Mack. He's going to clear on the outside. What a move. Now there's a whole gaggle of cars behind him. Mack behind. We got Alex Wiggins breaking into the top 5 in that 11 machine. Max Bauman behind him, followed by Jensen and Argebright. That 11 car is making moves tonight, already up 11 spots from the beginning of the race. Scratch that, he started 18th, so that'll be 13 spots at this point. Field starting to get spread out just a little bit. Back here, Zach Miller fighting for his life on the outside. Crank Bell to the inside. Devin Mains lost a little bit on that last run. Fell almost out of the top 10. Five car trying to survive. We see the 14 get a piece of the fence there. Looks like Miller is going to get around. Mains tries to get back to the bottom. The 7 car, Brewington trying to make those tires work for him. Whoop. There we go. Remember, Brewington a lap down, fighting to be the first car 1 lap down, which he is right now, currently ahead of the 16 and the 63 behind. Devin Gentry running, you'll never guess. P12. Hanging in there, running a good race, nice and consistent, not getting into trouble. Seems to be the name of the game for the calm, cool, and collected driver. This, oh my goodness, massive pile up into turn 3. We have got a wreck to view, folks. Hang on. We are going to get this replay going. What incredible wreck that was. A lot of drivers involved. We're going to go ahead and cue up that replay cam. Keep an eye on Zach Miller here. He's the driver, the number 38, right in front of the 7. Good corner exit here. Expect the trouble. Probably came on entry to the next corner. Oh, we see, no. It's happened just ahead of him. And Dan Jensen, the 29. Looks like maybe some contact on corner entry. Let's check it out. Corner exit, perhaps. Ooh, 31 just gets loose to his outside. 31 buzzes the rear tires, and it turns him left into the door of the 29. And they just can't get separated at that point. Looks like a bit of netcode might influence 29 as well. I would tend to put that on the 31. I think he got a little bit loose coming off the corner. Unfortunately, nowhere for Miller to go, and he just pounds the side of the 29. That's going to be huge damage to the front end of that 38 car, and the 13 as well. Just nowhere for Dolphin to go either, so that night goes from bad to worse for the driver of the 13. Probably wishing he could forget this one. Locks up the front tires and just nowhere to go. Cars stopped down low, cars stopped up high, almost the entire track blocked. Gentry just barely sneaks through. Probably would have been in trouble as well had the 13 not knocked the 41 up the racetrack. Trouble once again here at USA International. We knew it was going to be a tough night. A deceptively calm start to the race has started to unfold into something more. So catastrophe strikes for a lot of drivers. We've got, let's see, quite a few drivers involved. Looks like Bell might have got a little bit of damage off that too. We knew he had some rear damage from earlier, but he hit pit lane just a short time ago. Go ahead and go back live as everyone's behind the pace car. Craig Bell in the pits, Doug Argabright, Dan Jensen, Dalton Buckingham must have got a piece at some point as well. And of course, Jake Dolphin in the 13 just continues to get the short end of the stick here in Lakeland, Florida. It's been all roses for the driver, this number 15, though, being able to start as a lead car on all these restarts. Got him the gap he needs to stay ahead, and he's been able to manage this race and kind of control the whole thing from the front this entire time. Same thing with Turner to his, going to start to his outside, so this is going to be a big start for Turner to try to hold on to that second place, with the 15 electing to go to the inside for, I believe, the first time tonight. That's going to open up Turner to potential dive to the inside by the 35. Allen disappears for just a moment, causes the inside line to back off on that restart. Network issues striking for the 15. That benefits Turner, though. He's able to hang on to that spot. Dusty Martin, trying to hold off Alex Wiggins on the outside. Wiggins to the outside, going to open himself up to getting passed by potentially two cars as Bauman, what should be the 89 car, looks to the inside. Not quite able to clear, but he's going to get another shot here as they go down into 3 and 4. Martin clears. Now it's Bauman and Wiggins for that spot. Bauman's going to cut him a bit of a break, let him back in line. The first time tonight, we see Devin Gentry moving up the field, up to 6th spot after that caution. Missed the apex just a little bit there. Going to give that spot up to the 5 of Mains. Going to be under fire from the 7 as well. 7 car still 1 lap down. I believe in that melee might have lost that spot, that lucky dog spot, to the 16 of Odell. Odell was granted the lucky dog. He is currently riding 10th in that other color chrome Royal Pegasus Motorsport Chevrolet. Craig Bell trying to mount a comeback. We saw him with speed early on in the race. Oh, it was a 16. Big impact, and that's going to bring out another caution. Gets loose off of the exit of the corner, and unfortunately plants the nose of the 16 right after the lucky dog. That is good news for Dalton Brewington, though. You're just mentioning failed to get it last caution. We'll get the wave around this time by being the first car one lap down. Still Bandit Allen leading the way, followed by the 26, 35, and the 11 of Alex Wiggins. The usual suspects at the front. We saw a similar cast of characters at the end of last week's Daytona race. Things have not changed much here at USA International Short Track, but still, the cream of the crop rises to the top as the whole field, save for Dalton Brewington, comes around to make pit stops here on lap number 76. This driver is probably pretty happy that they've gotten a few cautions. Of course, not the ones involved, but these drivers are going to be pleased that they get to put fresh Goodyear rubber on these race cars, because after 30 or 40 laps, they start to get to be a handful, as we've seen out of a few drivers, and definitely saw out of Brewington's number 7 machine having to restart from the lead on older tires a few runs ago. Brewington getting his lap back. Question is, how many tires will these drivers have left for the second half? We're not even to the halfway mark. We're crossing lap 77 of 200. So, long way to go for these drivers. We'll see how this plays out for them. It's going to be a long night, and already has been a long night for some drivers. Back underway, a green flag. Mains going to lead him to the green this time by. Number 5 out front for the first time, getting the jump on the 15. 15 now under fire from the 14. We saw Crank Bell was mounting a comeback. Bit loose that time. Fall into the clutches of Bauman now in 4th place. Allen says, I'm not done. You're not getting away from me that easy. Ooh, maybe almost puts a bumper to the 5 on the exit of the corner. Gets a nose inside down to 3 and 4. Working the inside now. The 5 is going to have to surrender that spot. Just cannot compete with just the impressive amount of grip that 15 looks like it has through the center of the corners. Down and away. He's pulling away. 15 is gone. 5 hanging on to the second place. A battle for 3rd is heating up between 89 of Bauman, the 26 of Turner, and Crank Bell trying to hold all of them off. 26 taking a wide entry, looking to get the crossover, gets that nose inside off the corner, maybe. Not quite there yet. 14 slams the door down into 3 and 4. Turner's got that mid-corner grip in spades. He's been trying to make a crossover happen on the 14 as the 14's been lighting up the tires on exit, able to get alongside. I'll be impressed if the 26 can make the pass on the outside. holding steady so far. He's hoping that 14 gets loose again, and he does. Give that spot to the 26, and big loss for the 14 as Turner goes through. Dusty Martin, a 35, and a 31, a Mack, fighting for this 4th position. Martin getting away. Mack is under fire from Bauman, who he just put back into the 6th position. Bauman had a solid restart there for a while, is slowly starting to slip back a couple spots. Up ahead, the battle for second, starting to close up. This 26 of Turner finally catching the back bumper. That number 5, Devin Mains. Mains had some confidence going into this race, referencing the success at Iowa Speedway last season, hoping the car would be similar. So far, he's had pretty good pace here. The 26 and the 15 probably have it by a little bit, but expect that 5 to learn a lot, as he did like we said, at Iowa last year. About 3/4 of the way through the race, the 5 driver, the number 5 car, found a lot of speed at Iowa Speedway last season. So if he's able to figure out the line and kind of take some notes off the 15 and the 26 here, I'd expect that 5 to be a threat before the end of this race. But right now, losing a little bit, trying to keep up with the 26 and 35. Dusty Martin starting to close in. We've seen the 35 gaining pace all night. Was hovering around the top 10 mark earlier in the evening. Now solidly within the top 5 for the past 40 laps or so. He's going to bypass the 5 car for that 3rd position, and Aaron Mack going to follow him through in the 31. We haven't seen the horns come out yet. The front of these race cars mostly clean throughout the field. Toward the end of this race, I wouldn't be surprised to see some of these drivers stick a bumper to the car in front just to get them out of the way a little bit quicker. Like we said, this is an old school beat and bang type of racetrack. If you got the bottom line and you're faster than the car in front of you and they're blocking you, sometimes you got to lay your bumper on them. Alex Wiggins behind, finally gets around Max Bauman for that spot. Heard a big moment from somewhere behind. Heard a lot of tire noise coming behind. I think someone might have gotten very loose in the back of the pack. Coming back to that number 7 car. We mentioned he got the lucky dog not too long ago. He's back in action on the lead lap. Hanging in there with the rest of the cars. He's a little bit behind Bell, trying to compete. Currently has 20 lap older tires than the rest of the field. Still on that alternate strategy. 12 seconds back. He'll be hoping for a fairly quick caution to avoid getting lapped by the 15 of Allen, who's already out to a 4.7 second gap on the 26 of Steve Turner. Back to Dusty Martin and Aaron Mack. Devin Mains riding in the 5th spot with the 11 starting to close in on the back of that U.S. Army Esports machine. Hang out with this battle for 3rd back here. Dusty Martin, Aaron Mack. Both drivers very similar pace, 22.24 and a 22.26. The 2 lap times out of these drivers the last time by, respectively. navigating the lap traffic of Dalton Buckingham in the 39. Doesn't harm either driver very much. Slight gain for Mac. Closes in good on pretty well. Almost a full car length in the braking zone there into 2. Back and forth on lap times a lot for these guys. We'll see them close in just about like this, and then we'll see that gap spread out to 0.3, 0.4 seconds. All it takes is one little wiggle, as we almost saw out of the 31 that time coming off of the corner. Turn 4 is definitely the place you're going to see that the most tonight. Flattens out a little bit faster. That corner has a deceptive amount of grip on the exit. Car is gripped up just about to that cone that you see on the inside there. Then after it flattens out, that back end just wants to snap loose. Adding those challenges, I may not look it, but this is a pretty bumpy racetrack as well. Let's take a ride on board with that 31 of Aaron Mack, and we'll see just how bumpy it is in this race car. So he tries to work on the rear bumper of the 35. So Mac taking the safe line out of turn 4 there, keeping it low, staying where the grip is. Trying not to ride that right rear tire too much. Contrasting with the 35 of Martin, goes all the way out to the fence using every last bit of racetrack he can to try to get that car rolling up off the corner. So these two battle it out, looking out for that number 11 behind them. Alex Wiggins is closing on this twosome. 11 car's been picking people off one by one, just gaining track position steadily throughout the night. Looks like he might be finding a little bit of pace as well. Last lap for all 4 of drivers between second and fifth places was a 22.31. Identical lap times for second through fifth last time by. Dusty Martin still hanging on, not only to lead, but to that fastest lap of the race. That's worth 1 bonus point in our Thursday Night Nitro Championship. Every week we'll be keeping an eye out who's got that fast lap. So far it is unsurprisingly the driver of the number 15, who's out to a 7-second lead now on second place, Stephen Turner. Still a great battle between these two. Very, very evenly matched drivers. Of course, talking about Dusty Martin, Aaron Mack. Mack getting all the way there within half a car length. Just cannot quite get the drive off the corner to get underneath that 35. Lap cars will probably play a factor in this battle as we progress throughout the run. Now diving onto the 38 is Zach Miller. That does play a bit of a role. The 35 gets a little slow on the apex of the corner, but unfortunately, the 31 had to check up. Funny advantage he gained there was lost just as quickly. You know who didn't have a problem there? That 11 car. Got through nice and clean. Still gaining on these guys bit by bit. Was 4 thousandths faster than these two. These two having identical laps once again, 22.65 for both drivers. Currently the fastest car on the racetrack is your second place driver in the 26, a 22.23 last time by. 22.41 compared to the 22.45 of Bennett Allen. So slightly faster once again than your leader. We'll see. He can start to close that gap back up. It is a large gap, though. He's got his work cut out for him. This could turn into a 3-car battle soon, I think. Time might be running out for Aaron Mack to make this pass on Martin. Because pretty soon he's going to be under fire and having to play defense for that 11-car behind. So far, his strategy's been able to take that slightly wider entry, close it in tight, and try to get a good drive off. But that wider entry opens you up to attack from the car behind. You see him already starting to shift that strategy a little bit, taking a pretty shallow entry that time. Now starting to adapt that wide line coming off the corner, just trying to ride up on that right rear tire. Caution is out. We'll try to figure out why in just a moment. All right, looking like that caution will be for the 33, a self-spin to the inside wall. Unfortunately, don't have the replay flag to be able to go back for that specific accident. But all the cars going to come down pit lane this time. Dalton Brewington in the 7 going to be really thankful for this caution. 20-lap older tires, and the rest of the field finally able to get back on the same cycle and put the speed in that Ford Mustang to use. We'll see what he's got for the field coming up in this next run. It's like the 7 car may have hit again. Unclear as to what's happening here. See a little bit of damage on the left rear of that Friends of Jacqueline 00 car for Max Bauman. Like someone got into the rear of his Mustang at some point. Not sure why it's showing a lap down for Brewington now. Green flag back in the air, firing off well as usual is Bennett Allen out front. Battle for 16. Mack trying to make it happen on the outside. Can he make it stick on the 26? 26 gives him plenty of space. Probably expected a bit of a tag of the wall there. Mac carried a ton of speed coming off that corner. Still trying to hang on the outside. I don't think he's going to make that pass happen. Caution's out once again. It's like Randall Peasley with some issues in the back of the field. What hit our Déjà Revél replay cam, and we'll find out what happened. Keeping an eye on that number 63 at the bottom of your screen. It's a little bit hot in the corner, locked up the rears a little bit. Just went for a ride by himself, and that'll bring out the next caution for this evening. No harm, no foul, but we'll re-rack him and fire off again. And then Alan says, hey, I'm tired of restarting all these so well. I'm sure Turner in the 26 is starting to like these restarts, though. Every chance he gets is another opportunity to practice. Keep an eye on the tactics that this number 15 is using to get these good launches on the restarts. It's good news for Brewington as well. He'll get that lap back. And maybe a speeding penalty last time by. Might have resulted in a pass-through to put him a lap down. Should have been on the same pit cycle, but here we are, back in the lead lap nonetheless. Rundown of your running order. It's going to be the 15 Allen out front. Turner in the 26 second. Aaron Mack, the 31, finally getting the better of Dusty Martin on these past couple restarts for that third spot. Martin running fourth. Fifth is Devin Mains. Sixth, Alex Wiggins. Max Bowman's running P7 right now. Devin Gentry up to P8. Dalton Brewington, P9. Crank Bell, P10, with Dalton Buckingham in the 39 being the last car running, who's not on the lead lap. Lap 123. We'll get that green flag, I believe, lap 125. So we have 75 to go to the finish of this race. Everybody should be good on fuel. The question is, will they have opportunity to take tires before the end? Will anyone play it a bit risky? Go for the two-tire strategy. Two right-side tires. Toward the end of that race, if we have a caution, that track position might be worth it, especially if you're riding back around 10th. Might see a play like that out of the 14. Bell's been known to be crafty once or twice. Here we go for the restart once again. Bennett Allen leads him to the green. Fires off fantastically. Steve Turner, a bit of a stumble on the inside lane. Still able to hold that second spot, though, as Dusty Martin goes to the outside and about almost gets moved by the 31 and Mac. Mac is not wasting any time going after that second spot. He says, you stay up there. I'm going to go by on the inside. Missed the apex a little bit that time. Might cost him a little bit of time to the 35. Not quite going to get there, though. Battle behind them. On fire for the 5. 5 drifted way up the racetrack last time around. That's going to surrender that spot to the 11 of Wiggins. Bauman going to try to stick it to the outside. Not going to get there. Thinks better of it, and 5 shuts the door. As soon as he called clear, he slid it right up to the fence. He's looking to hang on to that spot, not give up any more than he already has on this restart. Battle up here. Wiggins on the attack. Trying to work his way around. Dusty Martin in the 35. Closes in right there. Inches of separation in the mid-corner. Now half a car as they head down the backstretch. Into 3 and 4. That gap now 1 car length. We'll see how good of an exit they're able to get this time. Martin hanging in there strong. 21.69 the lap time for both drivers last time by. Wiggins rolling the bottom of that corner exit really well as he gets right down on that yellow line, is able to wrap it really well coming off the exit of the corner as he gains a little bit there. 35 able to really get away off the exit onto the straightaway, though. Uses that momentum from that slightly higher lane mid-corner. Missed the apex quite a bit there for the 11 this time. Field pretty spread out now. At least a half a second separates everyone else in the field. Wiggins still trying to work on the back bumper of this number 35. Ooh, almost gets a bumper alongside. He was there to the inside. The 11 broke the right rear tire loose coming off the corner. Had to lift. Pedaling a little bit and just loses enough ground for the 35 to hang on to the spot. Martin's not catching a break tonight if he's not under fire from the 31, as he had been for half this race so far. Now he's under fire from the 11. Possibly driving out of the mirror more than the windshield. On board with Wiggins now. Trying to chase down the 35. As this battle goes on, both these drivers starting to catch back up to that 31 car of Aaron Mack. You notice a pretty rapid pace as well. Are in a bit of a glitch here from trading paints. Should resolve itself shortly. There we go. The gap's slightly more consistent between the top two drivers. Steven Turner is still trying to run down that 15. He's not losing as much time as he has in prior runs, just 2.5 seconds back so far in the run. Last going green, I believe, lap 119. Quite a few laps into the run, still hanging in there within 3 seconds, which we haven't seen so far tonight. So maybe some of these drivers behind starting to figure some things out. But will they have enough to topple the 15 from the top spot? By the way, Dusty Martin with the new paint scheme this week. You'll notice the silver and black has replaced the maroon colors from Daytona, and now featuring the Turtleback Trailer Boys. The country music band out of Athens, Georgia. Working their way now around Dalton Buckingham in the 39 car. A little bit of a shallow entry there for the 35. Let's 11 car close up by about half a car length. Still not able to get there. A little bit loose off the corner that time for Martin in the 35. Allowed Wiggins to close in. I think the tire wear differences might be catching up to the 35. We see in the 11 wrapping that bottom a lot more on exit, which is able to keep the tire wear a little more consistent between both rear tires. Whereas if you're running wider, it does tend to lean on that right side just a little bit more. And over the course of 40 or 50 laps or more, can definitely add up to a bit of a performance difference. Both drivers still very similar lap times, so 22.38 versus a 22.43. Is trading back and forth as lap times go. Now even closer, 22.35 and 22.33, 0.02 of a second. Separating the pace of these two. And still in front of them, we see that gap closing to the 31, now down to just 1 second. Was 2 seconds about 15 laps ago. Now down to just 1.05 as my timing and scoring is showing. Both the drivers behind running about a 10th quicker per lap than Aaron Mack currently. Mack taking a really gentle approach out of turn 4, trying to save on those tires a little bit. Notice that brake rotor glow coming out of that left front wheel well. As he gets down into the corner, those brakes definitely are going to play a bit of a role in heating up the tires. You attack the corners too much, you heat those brakes up even more, and the hotter you get the brakes, the hotter you get the wheel, and the hotter you get the wheel, the hotter you get the tire. Noticing that bright glow, then fading down to a dull glow, and just about disappearing by the time they exit the corner, but one of the neat little details that you'll see in the iRacing simulation. Nice visualization of the heat that these wheels and tires and brakes experience through the course of one of these events. Gap now stands at 0.6 seconds from Martin to Mack. Roles are going to be inversed soon. Question is, can Martin make the pass before Wiggins is able to close in on them? Nothing quite like having the pressure of making a pass in a short amount of time before the car breathing down your neck finds an opportunity to send it to the inside if you have to slow up a little bit for the car you're trying to pass. He's almost there. Now half a car length. Separation. 31 misses the apex that time. He goes wide off the exit. Looks like it's going to be an easy pass for Dusty. He goes to the inside. Nothing Matt can really do here. I think the right side tire's just gone on his SDI Chevrolet. Makes it pass easy. Oh, and Dusty wants to see that right there. Alex Wiggins was not able to get his 11 car to the inside of the 31 before the corner. That's going to slow him up a little bit and create some of that separation that Martin's looking for. The 31 car might be turning up the wick a little bit after he got past. Taking some notes on the line that the 35 is running. Still definitely see the 35 has a lot better drive off of the corner. The 31 just can't quite get it down to the bottom on a couple instances. A little bit of contact there between the 11 and 31, touching doors off of 4. Sorry, off of 2. Finally, Wiggins is able to get by. Matt goes wide in 3 and 4, and it unfortunately has to yield that spot. That's going to put him back to 5th place. Dusty Martin found some speed, folks. He's running 22.55s. Turner ahead has been, I would say, second best in the field all night, and has had a gap on pace pretty much the whole night. But right now, last 5 lap average has been about half a tenth slower per lap than the driver of the number 35. So Dusty Martin coming on strong on old tires. He's got something figured out once the cheese grater's taken to these Goodyear tires. Let's take a look back through the field a little ways. We got Max Baumann here. In the number 89 machine, trying to run down Aaron Mack. Mack's starting to fall back towards him just a little bit. Gap right now, 0.6 seconds. Baumann now working to the inside of Mack for that 5th spot, trying to make this thing work. Mack tries to switch back, not able to make it stick coming off the corner. He's going to have to surrender that spot, move the 89 up to 5th spot. Dusty Martin starting to fall off that 22.6 time range he was running in just a short time ago. It was 22.8 last time by. You see Wiggins with a massive power slide coming out of turn 4. Doing his best to run him down. Aaron Mack just continues to fall through the field. Working his way around the lap car of Peasley in the 63. Back a little ways, Gentry working on this number 14. Starting to close in on Crank Bell for that 8th spot. incident happened just in front of this. Caution is out for the number 5, Devin Mains. Taking a look at our replay cam just a moment. We'll see what happened there. Looks like a bit of a self-spin incident, possibly. A little hot coming into the corner, gets across the bumps, and as we've seen so many times before, just can't hang on to it. Unfortunately, pretty heavy contact for the driver, the number 14, as well. Your leader just barely squeaking through there. Bennett Allen navigating that to the outside. That'll bring out the caution. Once again, with just under 25 laps to go here in this race. It's been the Bennett Allen Show all race thus far. And it looks like it's going to be a 25-lap fresh tire shootout. But the question is, will these drivers take 2 or will they take 4? That was our longest green flag run of the evening. These drivers last came in at lap 116. 63 laps on the tires, most we've had all evening. They think the left sides will work out for them. They're growing all 4 tires for the driver of the 15. Max Baumann may be taking a 2-tire stop. That 89 was nowhere near the front at the time of caution. Rolls off second. Shouldn't be a huge loss no matter what happens, because there's only 9 cars on the lead lap currently, should it go green to the end. So the worst he perceivably would do is 9th place. So as the 89, if you were running 5th, might make sense to take that 2-tire call. 89 of Max Baumann's been a bit of a gambler. Before, we'll see if it pays off for him this time. He'll start to the outside of the 15 car. We'll see if that's able to work out. We've seen the 15 get great launches so far all evening. Will Baumann be able to clear from that outside? Will he be able to hang on the outside? Not the place you want to start here at USA International. 15's going to fire off. Green flag back in the air. Tire spin out of the 89 on the outside. That's going to stack up that whole lane. Patience going to run thin between all these drivers. Steven Turner runs through to the next spot. 11 of Alex Wiggins getting absolutely bullied back in the field. Got a little bit loose mid-corner and just got shuffled. Now looking at potentially getting passed by the 31 to the outside. Gets it gathered up. 31 tags the fence just a little bit. Allen out front comfortably. Turner second. The battle back here is going to be for 4th, 5th, and more. Caution is out. The 11 is backwards into the fence. I tell you, folks, there's a lot going on right now. We'll go ahead and take a look at what happened with the 11, that yellow and blue car right in the middle of your screen. We'll go ahead and look at what happened coming down into turn 1. Got loose. Wow, major help from the 31. And things just continue to stack up from there. Bit of a misjudgment there by the 31 car. Just punts the 11. Massive damage to the back end of Alex Wiggins, who had been working his way forward all evening. It's the way he's driving right now. I'm guessing the driver of that 11 car not very happy about the turn of events that's just unfolded. With this many laps to go, I have to imagine he's just going to ride it out as is. Doesn't look like much damage to the front end of that car, mostly rear damage, so as long as everything's straight in the suspension, he should be all right to the end, but all that track position obviously gone. Matt going to get the EOL from the race control for being the cause of that caution. It's going to move. Few drivers up a position. Lights are off on the pace car. Will be going green. This time by Bennett Allen leading him to the start once again. Big launch on the outside. Great launch for Dusty Martin in third. Able to hang to the outside of the 26. Now can he get down to the bottom before the 89 gets to his inside? Bauman to the inside. Couldn't quite get there, but the door is still open. Bauman going to stick it to the inside. Dusty Martin, 35, even coming to the line. Down to turn one, still side by side. Advantage to Bauman. Bauman's going to clear for third. Back behind them, Wiggins wasting no time putting down a couple spots after that incident just a couple laps ago. Up to fifth for him. 14 of Bell in sixth, and Devin Gentry up to seventh. Battle now is for second spot. Make that third spot. 35 comes charging back as Bauman misses the apex just a little bit. Leaves the door open. Not going to get past by one, but possibly two now. Gets loose on the outside lane, getting in the marbles. Bauman continues to fall through the field. Remember, Bauman with that two-tire call on the last set of pit stops. It worked for a couple laps, but it looks like the driver of the 89 is starting to resent that call just a little bit. Big loose condition for that car. Now Dusty Martin trying to hold on to that third spot. Wiggins wants it and is closing. Inside of 10 laps to go, just 9 to go now here at USA International. Things are heating up. But not for Bennett Allen. He's out front by a comfortable 1.5 seconds over second place. Steven Turner, same picture up front all night. What has changed is the third place. And I say that just as the caution comes out yet again. It looks like several cars involved. Big Greg Burchett involved, Brewington involved, Aaron Mack involved. Taking a look at our Déjà Revél replay cam once again. Taking a look at the 33, I believe was the first incident we had on record. Just gets loose, breaks the rears loose on the straight coming off the corner, pounds the inside fence. Possibly an unrelated event for the other two drivers. Let's go ahead and check what happened to the driver of the 7. Looks like 2 simultaneous events happening on the track to bring out that caution. 7 gets a good launch here. Is going to take a wide entry. 31 sends it in. And with plenty of room left on the inside, looks like just going to send the 7 car. We can go look at that once again. Let you be the verdict. Did not quite have position alongside. A bit of a desperate move there, I think, for the 31. The 7 did leave the door open a bit. But I don't think the 31, you see the 31 with front tires locked up, I don't think was going to make that corner cleanly. But we'll let race control sort that out. We'll go back live for now and see what happens. Out front still, first, second, third, Allen, Turner, Martin. Man who did not want to see this as a driver. The Friends of Jacqueline Foundation, Ford Mustang. Starting to have issues with those old left side tires on that, but still had a bit of a gap to the next couple spots, but that gap now is erased. This does not have that cushion. He'll be under fire from the likes of the 12 of Gentry and the 14 of Bell when we go back green. Will anyone be bold and try to throw on some tires before the very end? These drivers last came in lap 178. I don't know. If I'm Crank Bell or someone toward the back, I would almost try it. But looks like we're going to stay lined up for now. Going to be a quick caution. Lights are out on the pace car. We'll throw the green flag next time by once again, led by Bennett Allen to the start, or to the green flag. Turner on the outside is going to have to make quick work of Martin if he wants to hang on to that spot. It'd have to be a prime launch for the driver of the 26 to be able to hang on. Martin all the way up the back end of that 15 car. Big break there. Off track behind. Martin with tire spin on the restart. Turner clears for second. It's Martin for third, fighting for that spot with 4 wide off of 2. Wrecking still happening well after the caution. 7 car definitely not slowing down for that one. That is one we're going to have to go back and take a look at, folks. This was absolute pandemonium. Both the 35 and the 11 washing up the track, battling side by side. 35 loose, has to get out of the gas. 11 up in the marbles, not able to get in the gas either. 14, the 00, both hang it to the inside. 14 comes up into the 00, who then hits the 35 of Martin and sends him around. Tragic end of this race for the 35. You see he goes around here, comes back up the racetrack. The 7 just nowhere to go, thinks he was clear through on the outside, but then 35 reverses direction during that slide and just nowhere for Brewington to go. That Mustang is destroyed as well, and in that impact threw out the rear suspension of the 35, so both of those drivers gonna have to retire. Shame for the driver of the 35. Had been running an excellent race the whole time, running in the top 5 all day long. A bit of overzealous driving by those around him and just a missed apex and washing up the track a little bit, all converged to create absolute chaos for what is going to be the caution to send us into overtime. Here at USA International Speedway, we have completed our scheduled 200 laps. We will be going for a green-white checkered finish now at this point. Cars will fire off for 2 laps. If the leader takes the white flag, if the leader crosses the finish line to begin the final lap and the caution comes out after that point, that will be the end of the race. If the caution should come out before the leader crosses the line, we will re-rack him and try again. Should mention for a maximum of 3 attempts, this being the first green-white checkered attempt, we will have a maximum of 3. If we cannot complete the race under green or reach the final lap on the 3rd attempt, that will be the race. Green flag is out. Allen able to clear for first. It's Turner now having to contend with Wiggins for second. Turner stuck on that outside, not able to get the same launch he got on the last start. Gonna hang to the outside. Might open up the door for Bell too if he can't clear the 11. Big run to the outside. Big wiggle for Wiggins on the inside. Still not able to clear. 26 was close that time. Not able to get there. Can he hang on? White flag is out. Last lap for Bennett Allen in the 15. The battle will be for second. Still side by side. Can the 26 power up off the corner? Not going to happen. Going to look for the crossover. Not going to be there. Wiggins will get second. Bennett Allen, unsurprisingly, will lead nearly every single lap in the event. As the fireworks go off, for the second time, the driver, the number 15, burning it down with back-to-back wins to open the season. Wiggins with a heroic comeback on the final restart, making up for incident and spin just 2 cautions ago, about 20 laps ago. Climbs all the way back up the runner-up spot to finish this one off. Bennett Allen going to absolutely burn the place down. He's going to be pretty good at burnouts by the time this season's over. It'll be Allen, Wiggins, Turner, your top 3. Bell snuck his way back up into 4th, with Bauman finishing out the top 5. Aaron Mack back up to 6th. Devin Gentry, P7. Devin Mains, P8. Randall Peasley, P9. Zach Miller rounds out the top 10, with Martin and Brewington falling out of the top 10 at the end due to the final wreck. We'll get a word from our drivers in just a moment. While we're getting things set up for that, of course, we want to mention our awesome sponsors coming along with us for this season. Déjà Revél Boudoir Photography out of Pennsylvania, one of the voted, I believe, the best in the state. If you are interested in seeking out their services, excellent photographer, excellent professional conduct, and excellent photos as a result. So if you're interested in checking out Kara's services there, check out DejaRevél.com. As you've seen on our replay cam so many times this evening. Thanks to Devin Mains Designs, driver the number 5, also does awesome looking designs and liveries for iRacing. If you're looking to be hooked up with a professional looking paint scheme, go ahead and check him out there. All right, we will go to the winner of tonight's race in just a moment. Go ahead and let them file into the green room. We'll get them in here for interviews. Actually, we'll go ahead and start with 3rd place. Steve Turner, who had a great night. The driver, the number 26, had pace all evening, just shy of the pace of the 15, but had held it in second place all the way till the end. It was a pretty solid night for you, Steve. Take us through that last restart. Is there anything you could have done different? I guess, first of all, congrats on a solid day. You managed to stay out front of pretty much all the trouble for the whole race. But take us through the last bit of that race and what was going through your mind on that restart.
Yeah, I was really hoping I could pinch Alex to the bottom a little more and maybe keep him down there. I did it good until that last corner, and he had too much speed. He'd driven from the back towards the front, and I definitely didn't have much for him, or even Bennett. Good win for my turnaround turbos teammate. Solid day. Didn't think we were gonna do that well. I didn't was not very optimistic about this race, but I will gladly take a P3.
Absolutely, had pace the whole time. I mean, we kind of figured toward it for on those longer runs. You were definitely closing the gap on pace. We saw you get within half a tenth speed wise to Bennett quite a few times throughout those longer runs. So you definitely found something there that a lot of other drivers didn't have. But top three, still a solid day, like you mentioned, a solid day for the team overall. For second outing, a little bit of a pickup from Daytona last week. So yeah, great race for one you admittedly weren't exactly sure about the result of. All through the day, did you think you had a certain strategy that was keeping you out front and preserving those tires a little more than everyone else?
I don't know about a strategy. We were all in the Discord talking about like when we were gonna pit, when was a good time to take tires, and we kind of came up with about every 40 laps or so. So it's where we went with it. Yeah, I wish I had a little more speed. Definitely the long runs were really good, like you said. I was maintaining pace with him, but by the time I was maintaining, he was already 6 seconds out in front. So not much I could do there.
Well, fantastic race. Good to see you get another solid result, and of course, a solid result for the team. You had that Premier Security Chevrolet wound up all day, and yeah, congrats. And let's see, looking at our schedule for next week, we've got, I believe, Chicagoland coming up. So our first intermediate track of the season. How you feeling about your odds at Chicago?
Well, sadly for Chicago, I won't be there. I got work, so I'll be using a provisional for that race. I won't be back for Chicago or Coda, so you guys won't see me for a couple weeks. But want to wish my teammates good luck. Hopefully, Bennett can go out there and get that third one in a row. That'd be pretty cool.
Indeed, it would be. Well, you got a solid finish and a really solid race to show for it and to send off. So hopefully, pick up right where you left off once we see you back here.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Thanks for you putting the broadcast on. Justin doing all the race control. Thanks for guys that put the lead together. It's been fun so far. Let's keep it rolling.
Absolutely. That's been the driver, the number 26, Steve Turner. Bringing it home P3 tonight. All right, next up, we'll go with Alex Wiggins, driver, the number 11, who tore through the field on that last restart in that Mason blue Chevy Camaro. Alex, you had a bit of a rough start to the day and a rough couple restarts there toward the end, but very end you picked them off. You used every last ounce of speed that car had in it and picked your way through the field. Take us through that last restart, and what did you see out your windshield?
A whole lot of chaos from start to finish, but that's to be expected. The car was okay. I never had any right front to lean on, which was weird for this place. I feel like in most cars you do, but the race it didn't have a rhythm to it, which was kind of fun. You never knew what was going to happen. I'd say we had some decent green flag runs, but I've never been happier with second, which is rare for me.
It was definitely a hard-fought and well-deserved second place, so I can't say any of us viewing were looking for that to happen either. Seeing got pretty much, I think you're back in either 7th or 8th before that last restart and just stormed through the field, taking advantage of every time someone missed an apex. You see the nose of that 11 car, you see that Michigan M come sliding through the inside. And it looked like you said no right front, but all night we saw you wrapping that inside pretty well. And it looks like you kept the lower line on exits than a lot of people and kind of preserved that right front, I think, and the right rear for that matter, more than a lot of guys did.
Yeah, I know. I guess it was easier to wrap the bottom than run a bigger diamond like some guys were, but center off, I just had no no turn at all. And then on exit, I'd get snappy loose, which was I'm good with dealing with. But Bennett drove by far the best. I felt like when I had clean air, which was rare, starting dead last. But it might have been fun if I started up there, but we'll never know. He, of course, should have won. Did he not lead a single lap? I think he led every one.
I believe everyone. I'm gonna have to confirm with race control. If he didn't, it was only 1 or 2 that he didn't. But yeah, nearly every single lap.
Just impressive by him. I know Steve was really fast the majority of the race. I think he might have had some damage or something. I know my left rear was messed up the entire race, so which honestly helped me turn. So that's rare. But an overall, I'd say relatively clean race. I know we had one upside down, so that was fun. But besides that, I think it was pretty good.
For what it was, I think it was better than most of us were expecting. It was definitely a wild card thrown in there. I'll go ahead and name drop Alan. Alan Blue went ahead and voted for this one on the schedule, so we decided what the heck, we'll throw it in there and do something completely out of the box from what you'd expect from an Xfinity season. So taking it somewhere new, and I think did pretty well. The setup felt decent. We kind of just went with what was existing and tweaked it a little bit. Maybe not optimal, but that gives something for the drivers to contend with. And yeah, overall good race and a fantastic race by yourself. I'll give you the floor for a minute. If anyone you'd like to thank, shout out this evening.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, you for the broadcast, Zach and everybody else for what they do behind the scenes, and everybody for showing up. It was fun to be a part of, which at short tracks, it's a hit or miss sometimes, but it was overall a great night.
All right, well, thanks for your time. We'll let you go for the evening, and congrats on P2. Like you said, your favorite P2, probably the most hard-fought P2 yet. Hopefully we see you back Chicagoland next week.
Hopefully. I hope to see you next week. Means I did well.
All right, that's been the driver, the number 11, Alex Wiggins, finishing P2 this evening. Thanks for your time, Alex.
Thank you.
All right, finally bringing in the back-to-back season opening winner, and now the winner here at USA International, sweeping the Florida races. Bennett Allen, how you doing tonight? Got to be feeling pretty good after leading what I think was every lap. We'll have to have race control confirm that for us, but flag to flag, you put a hurting on everyone.
It was a lot of fun tonight. I was kind of surprised of my pace compared to everyone else. I feel like every run we got, it pulled off to at least 5 seconds before we have a yellow, but overall it was a lot of fun. I think I didn't lead like 10 or 15 because of yellows and strategy, but eventually I would make my way back up front, and yeah, it was fun. I'm tired. I had a long week of work. I worked 6 12-hour shifts in a row, and now I have a 6-day break, so it's kind of relaxing to have a couple really long runs where I wasn't stressing about battling anybody. And yeah, this track car combo slaps, man. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, an unexpected surprise for all of us. I think once we got to practicing it a little bit, we're like, hey, this might not be as bad as we think. And ended up being more green flag runs than we figured. I was hoping we'd get a couple in, and we absolutely did. Had a couple 70-lap runs, or close to 70, 60 to 70, somewhere in there. But the tires get a little sketchy coming off the corners once that right rear heats up enough. I know the percentage of wear that it shows you on the black box isn't a ton, but it definitely gets to feeling like it after that many laps.
Yeah, it was very interesting after about, I'd say 30, 40 laps. My right rear on the second to last run was pretty hot. Then that last long run before we had the, couple of cautions right back to back to back, I was starting to slide off the corner, which actually was really nice for corner entry. I could get the car to turn a little bit better entry, then I just would hook the wheel left to get the turn center. I've been practicing tire saving strategies for about 1.5 years now. I'm starting to get better, and really all that was throttle control, and I feel like I'm getting really good at that, but I tend to overturn the wheel a lot, so I was feeling tight center most of the race because I was cranking the wheel 90 degrees when it probably should only went like 60 or 70 degrees to the left. But it was a lot of fun. I love short tracks in the Xfinity car. It's right where my bread and butter is, and I think we have 2 or 3 more this season, and just really excited to continue to try to gain more points and hopefully get a championship at the end of the year.
Yeah, we'll see how much of a menace you become on the other two. We got Iowa and I believe North Wexboro coming up at some point this season, so they'll be spread out throughout the season a little bit. I believe we have one mid-season and then one One of those will be the playoff race. But man, you're gonna have a healthy points gap going into this one. A bit of a shake-up in the standings. A lot of the guys who finished behind you last week are pretty deep in the field this time around. So nice healthy points gap to start things off. You're already over 100 points total in the standings, and obviously going to get the most laps led once again, and the laps led bonus. So there's an extra 4 points there. So you're stacking them up pretty quick here. It's going to be quite a championship run to watch.
Yeah, for sure. This is the first time I've done more of like a almost Winston Cup style points format, so I'm really curious to see how it goes. All the other leagues I run do the NASCAR playoffs, so I know we have our own little like playoffs, but it's a little bit more even to where I think a real life should run. So it's gonna be interesting for sure. It's still anybody's championship, and I still gotta focus on next week. And if I look at the schedule, that was gonna be Chicagoland, which I'm not bad there. It's just all about saving your right rear. So hopefully we can get 3 in a row, but I'm not counting on it.
Well, I wouldn't count you out at this point either. I think lacking morale from the rest of the drivers may come into play at some point soon. But if you keep pulling the Jimmy Johnson on them and just denying them the wins outright. But yeah, hopefully you see continued success next week. Awesome start to the season, and like you said, we're looking forward to see how this thing plays out. Try to make things a little more worthwhile for those you don't know in the audience. Top 10 spots are worth 2 each, not just 1 point each. So that gap between first place finish and 11th place finish per se is a little wider than it used to be. So it should shake things up. If some guys have a bad day, that's going to sting a little bit more. If you have a good day, it's going to benefit you a little bit more. And hasn't benefited anyone more than you so far. So congrats on the second win in a row. If there's anyone you'd like to shout out, any sponsors or anything you'd like to thank, I'll give you the floor for a second.
Yeah, huge thanks to everyone at Turnaround Turbos. I got picked up by them after last week. They had 5 drivers at long shot, so I got the short end of the stick there. So they picked me up this week. So all those guys are really great and fun to talk to. And huge thanks to my boys back at Outlier Speed Shop. If y'all are looking for any good setups for open races in NASCAR and short tracks, they are people. They're affordable and pretty fast. And huge thanks to all of our sponsors here at Thursday Night Nitro, you, BoomTube, and thank you for the broadcast, and Devin Mains Designs, and Déjà Revél for being around and helping us put the show on YouTube. And it's really fun to have broadcasts like this because it makes me feel like a real NASCAR driver a little bit. And I have the people that I race for, and it's good to get some publicity for them. So yeah, man, it was a lot of fun tonight, and hopefully we have some more luck at Chicagoland. But hope everyone liked my Detroit Lions themed paint scheme. Hopefully this year's the year. If not, typical Lions. So
Indeed, I feel the pain as a fellow Michigander. So yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes, and we'll see how the rest of the season goes for you, sir. Congrats on your second in a row, and we'll see you next week at Chicagoland.
Yep, thanks, Adam.
All right, you've heard from our top finishers. That is going to wrap it up for the race coverage tonight, of course. Goodness, they're doing half my job for me, thanks to our amazing sponsors. Thanks to Déjà Revél for coming on with the replay cam and a couple of race sponsorships throughout the year. That's awesome to see them involved and contributing to give these guys something to compete for the monetary prizes and also the diecast giveaways. Got to mention Sugar Maple Designs. That's Devin Mains, run by Devin Mains. As you see, sponsor on the number 12 machine. Actually, let's see if I can pull that up for you real quick. Or Devin Gentry. I'm sorry. Too many Devins. A lot of similar names in this league. See if we can get there. There we go. That number 12 machine with the Sugar Maple Designs on the hood. Thanks to him for getting us the signed diecast giveaway throughout the season. That is an awesome addition to the league, and something these drivers can a little more incentive, especially as they drop throughout the races. This one didn't feature one, but a couple more races throughout the season will feature those. We'll be sure to let you know what those are, and we'll have pictures of those diecasts that these guys are competing for. So thanks to him for doing that. And of course, thanks to Devin Mains, the other Devin, Devin Mains Designs, for coming on board. You see him on the C pillar of all of these race cars in the field. As it goes zoom by too quick for me to even see. But thanks for him coming on, helping out, and be sure to, I believe, use the promo code TNN for 20% off a design from him. So get looking sharp like the driver of that number 5, looking awesome on that racetrack in the kind of matte black and metallic gold number 5 machine every single week. And thanks to all you out there watching here on YouTube. It's great to have people in here interacting and cheering these guys on as they go. Like they said, it makes it feel a little bit more like they're actually, you know, competing for the real deal, doing the real NASCAR thing. And it's awesome for us to see that engagement as well. If you haven't already and you'd like to get notified when we go live, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and then click that bell and you'll be notified every time we go live. Currently, Thursday Night Nitro is the only series broadcast on the Boom Tube, but we'll be looking to expand that in the future. But if you'd like to be notified when we go live Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, usually a little bit earlier to squeeze in qualifying. But right around 9 Eastern Time is when the race coverage begins. But glad to have all you here. If you give a like on the video and, like we said, subscribe, hit that notification bell to be notified next time we go live. We'd love to have it. Thanks to people chatting it up. See Bubba, Ryan, Kim, Terry, everyone out there watching, cheering on your drivers, Dusty and Devin and others. Good to have you in here engaging and love to see it. Thanks so much for spending your time here with us. And till next week at Chicagoland, I'll go ahead and say goodnight for now. As always, I've been Adam LeVox here for the Boom Tube and Thursday Night Nitro, and we'll see everybody next time.